I had this coming for like a year now, and well, I decided, you know what? Why not do it now? It's the second edition of Versus, and I think I said in the last Versus episode where we would be taking a look at Jumanji and Zathura together. Why? Because they're two very similar movies, and you'll see why else. 10 years does separate the two. Jumanji came out in 1995, while Zathura came out in 2005. Both are owned by Sony, and both have basically the same gist. It's about, people that play this magical board game, and, whatever, when they take their turns, something happens that's related to whatever the theme of the game is. In Jumanji's case, it's jungle theme. In Zathura's case, it's space. And I'm also going to do this kind of differently than when I did Marvel Universe and DC Nation because, well, these aren't blocks, these are movies. Yeah. Also, another thing to note, both of these had the same budget, $65 million. So, anyways, let's get started. Like I said, Jumanji came out in 1995. It stars Robin Williams, Bonnie Hunt, Kirsten Dunst, Bradley Pierce, Jonathan Hyde, and David Alan Grier. So, what is the story about? Well, at the beginning, we get these two boys that have, some sort of mysterious chest that they have to bury, and God help anyone that discovers it. And this, like in the 1800s. We cut to 1969, and this takes place in New Hampshire. And there's this kid named Alan Parrish who has bully problems and gets the shit beaten out of him to the point where the bullies steal his bike. And, well, he does go to his father's shoe factory, to protect himself because, why not? And he's got this one friend there who works there named Carl Bentley, the Soul Man. He's just invented this new shoe, but Alan fucks up a machine by putting the shoe on a conveyor belt, which destroys the machine. Carl takes the blame and, well, is fired by Alan's dad. Alan's dad tells Alan about his problems and says that, he should face them head on. Be a man. That sort of crap. And, well, he gets his bike stolen and the shit beaten out of him. And while he's walking home, he comes across this unprotected construction site where he discovers the chest that the boys in the 1800s buried. And, well, he was attracted to the beat of drums. He finds the chest, opens it up, and there's this game in it called Jumanji. And what does he do? Well, he takes it home, and, well, later that night, Alan's parents have to, they go to, like, some sort of charity event or some shit like that, and, well, they said that Alan is gonna go to boarding school, and, well, Alan's not sure about it, and after they leave, Alan's friend Sarah comes over to, apologize for the bully, since, well, Sarah is the bully's girlfriend, and, well, Sarah is friends with Alan. But, they both hear the beating of the drums of Jumanji, and, well, they decide to play it. Sarah goes first, and, well, the thing with Jumanji is, there's the board, and then there's this orb in the center, and when you have when you take your turn, your fate is decided. A poem comes up, and, well, she unleashes bats, and then Alan rolls, and he doesn't when the clock is dinging at the hour, and he gets in the jungle. You must wait until the dice reads 5 or 8, and Alan gets sucked into the game, and Sarah is attacked by bats. We cut to 26 years later, 1995, and someone named Nora, played by Baby Newworth, and her niece and nephew, Judy and Peter, played by Kirsten Dunst, pre-Spider-Man, and Bradley Pierce, post-Beauty and the Beast. And she's got them with them because, well, Judy and Peter's parents died at one point, and Peter doesn't really talk much, and Judy is a fantastic liar. And, well, they're checking out the Parrish place, and they hear about, the story about Alan Parrish, and people say that, he was killed, his dad chopped him up into a million pieces, ate him, buried him, weird shit like that. And then Judy and Peter discover Jumanji, and, well, they start playing it. And, well, the thing is, oh, shit. Alan and Sarah, they had, their 2 characters on, and then when Judy and Peter found it, they found 2 extra characters, and, well, they attached to the board, kind of magnetic-like. And, well, Judy goes, and she unleashes mosquitoes, which, like, big-ass mosquitoes, like this big. And, well, they do attack them, though they don't get, bitten by them. And then Peter goes, he rolls snake eyes, and unleashes monkeys. And might I add here, of all the effects in this, the monkeys are the only ones that I don't think really look like they're there. They're clearly fake. And, I mean, the other effects in this movie are great, just the monkeys don't hold up. So yeah, the monkeys are destroying their kitchen. Oh, and also their aunt is not there. And then, since Peter rolled double, he gets to go again, and he rolls a 5 and unleashes a lion, but, like the poem that, we said earlier that sucked Alan into Jumanji, Alan is unleashed, and it's Robin Williams wearing jungle clothes and has this giant beard. Obviously, he'd be wearing jungle clothes because I'm very sure his little kid clothes don't fit him anymore. So yeah, Alan doesn't realize that he's been gone for years, and he runs outside and he runs into this police officer who happens to be Carl Bentley, who is played by David Alan Grier. Yeah, after Carl got fired from the shoe factory, he became a police officer. Yeah, 5 years after he got fired, decided to become a cop. And, well, Alan discovers that it is 1995 after Judy and Peter follow him. And, Judy says that Alan is their uncle, and they're trying to, convince the cop to not arrest Alan. And while that's happening, a bunch of monkeys get into Carl's car and jackets after shooting his sirens off. So Alan goes, to find his parents and comes across the old shoe factory, and, this homeless guy tells him what happened, and his parents are dead, and the shoe store, the factory, has been closed for years. And while they're walking home, this car gets into an accident, and they hear this buzzing noise, and it's the mosquitoes. And then they get away from the mosquitoes by jacking that car and going back to the house. And then, well, Alan tidies up, shaves the beard, and gets on some proper clothing. And, well, they try to keep going with the game, but it's not Judy's turn, it's not Peter's turn, and it's not Alan's turn. It's Sarah's turn. And Sarah now is a sidekick, is Bonnie Hunt, and, well, she faints knowing that Alan is still alive. Oh, and she lives at the same house that she did as a child. And, well, Alan and the kids do carry her back to the Parrish house, and they continue playing. They unleash this giant plant, but then they keep it in a room, and among other things, they also unleash this hunter guy named Van Pelt, who is also played by the Jonathan Hyde, who is also Alan's dad. The thing you fear the most, and, well, it was his dad. And they also unleash a stampede, which is a fantastic effect, I might add. Yeah, though after the stampede, this pelican takes the game, and, well, Well, Alan blames Peter for not grabbing it, though after they're gone and the stampede is out of the house, the plant starts to get out. So he managed to get the game back from the Pelican, and meanwhile, Carl got his car back from the monkeys, and Van Pelt also shot his car. So now it's got a bunch of broken glass, and the front's busted. And, well, Carl runs into Alan and friends and arrests Alan because every time he shows up, something bad happens. Which, kind of true. I mean, the monkeys and all the other crap that's been happening. So he arrests Alan, and then Sarah and the kids go into town. Now, also, Peter tried to cheat, and because of that, he's turning into a monkey. Yeah, so they get to town. They get to the town, and well, the stampede is coming, and Van Pelt is on the hunt for them. Peter grabs the game from Van Pelt, who nagged it from them, but then Peter nagged it back and is running towards where the stampede is, and does the dumbest thing you could do when a stampede is coming. Gets in a stopped car. And, well, he somehow doesn't die, despite 2 elephants stepping on it, and a rhino. I'm surprised he didn't get killed, but you know what, whatever. So yeah, Van Pelt gets the game back. Bonnie Hunt and friends, and the kids, chase Van Pelt into this one store. They try to get back from him, and, well, eventually, meanwhile, Alan and Carl, are talking, and Alan says who he is, and Carl's like, holy shit. And then they're driving to the store where Sarah and the kids are, and, well, almost kill Van Pelt and get the game back. They keep playing the game, and they have, problems with quicksand, and also a crocodile, and also, what else? Spiders. Oh, yeah, that's right. Right. Meanwhile, Aunt Nora, she's driving around, then the stampede goes across her, and a monkey sneaks into her car and kind of terrorizes her, destroying her car. Carl, meanwhile, his police car is about to fall apart, and he finds Aunt Nora and offers to give her a ride, but then the plant comes and steals Carl's car, and, well, they have to get to the parish place on foot. Meanwhile, while Alan is fighting the crocodile, Carl and Nora come to the house. They open the door, and, well, all the water comes out. Then there's an earthquake, and then Judy gets killed by the plant, and then Alan goes up against Van Pelt. It's Alan's turn, and when he rolls the dice, he wins. It says Jumanji, everything gets sucked back into the game, and everything's reset to 1969. And because of that, Alan, develops a stronger relationship with his father, and does end up marrying Sarah in the future. Then we cut back to an alternate 1995, where Alan and Sarah are having a Christmas party, and Alan is dressed up as Santa Claus. They remember everything, and they also remember Judy and Peter. And, well, their parents are alive now, and, well, the parents may be creeped out that Alan and Sarah already know who Judy and Peter are. And also, they had thrown the game into the water, and it washed up on the shore. And then the screen cuts out, and, well, cliffhanger for Jumanji 2, which never happened, though kind of did, but you'll see. Overall, this was a pretty good movie. The special effects were great. The monkeys are the only ones that didn't hold up. Everything's great from the CGI and the practical effects using it, and it was also directed by Joe Johnston, who the only other movie I can think of that he did was Jurassic Park 3, but overall, pretty good movie, though critics criticized it for, well, being scary for kids, which, really, it's not scary. I mean, the crocodiles, sure, and the mosquitoes and the spiders, but not really. I mean, this is shit you'd see on the Discovery Channel or Animal Planet. And it was also interesting, you know, a game that brings African animals to, well, everyday suburbia and, well, terrorize the town. It was really good. Zathura, on the other hand. Do I have to? Oh, just... Look. I hate Zathura. I'm just gonna say that right now. I hate Zathura. So, what's wrong with Zathura? Well, it's kind of a sequel to Jumanji, though it makes no reference to Jumanji, although the trailer does, from the world of Jumanji. And there's no mention of, you know, Jumanji anywhere in the movie, which is sad, because the book, Zathura, was a sequel to Jumanji. At the end of Jumanji the book, you see these two characters named Walter and Danny come and take it home, and well, that's the stars of Zathura. Walter and Danny. Walter is this 10-year-old kid who's played by Josh Hutcherson, who you might also know as Peeta from the Hunger Games movies. And then there's Danny, played by Jonah Bobo, whose name reminds me of Bobo. I might have said too many Bo's, but I don't care. So, yeah, already we've replaced Kirsten Dunst and Bradley Pierce with Josh Hutcherson and Jonah Bobo. Though, we'll say this, fuck Walter. I absolutely hate Walter. He is so unlikable. He just acts like a jerk throughout the entirety of the movie. I know he's a kid, but you don't have to make him unlikable. And even at the end, I still think he's a rotten little shit stain. Danny is a bit whiny, and again, I know he's a kid, but why do you have to make him so whiny? In your shower, shut up! Shut up, kid! Just shut up! And, well, there's also their dad who's in there, who's played by Andy Dufresne himself, Tim Robbins. I guess this is what happens after Andy broke out of Shawshank. Who knows? Though, Walter and Danny's parents are split. Quite frankly, I would have preferred them to be dead parents, but that's just me. So, yeah. Andy Dufresne is a kind of a neglectful parent. I mean, you do see him playing catch with his two sons at the beginning, but quite frankly, he's more focused on work and just doesn't seem interesting. I mean, don't get me wrong. Sam Parrish in Jumanji wasn't very interesting, but, you know, you can take elements from the previous movie and improve on them. They don't do that here. Yeah, and they also turn out to have an older sister named Lisa, who's played by Kristen Stewart. Pre-Twilight's Kristen Stewart, but, I mean, she's better than she is on the Twilight movies, but it's like saying the dog taking a dump in the backyard is better than taking a dump in the front. Either way, it's a big mess. So, yeah. Andy Dufresne has a meeting today, and Lisa has to watch the two boys and make sure they don't kill each other. And, well, Danny throws a ball at Walter's face, and, well, Walter is going to straight up murder Danny. Danny hides in the dumbwaiter, or whatever the fuck the food elevator thing is called, which he always does. And Walter lowers him into the creepy and scary basement. Now, with Jumanji, the game was found in the creepy attic. Here, it's in the creepy basement that kind of rips off Home Alone. And while Danny is running out of the creepy basement, he trips and falls and finds in between the stairs this game named Zathura. There is no background given to Zathura, unlike Jumanji, where, it's probably, some sort of cursed game. But, you know what? While it wasn't that much, we still got some sort of background story with the game Jumanji. Zathura, it just shows up. And whereas Jumanji looked like something magical, unique, Zathura kind of looks like one of those 60s or 70s games. Quite frankly, it's even in the old fucking box. Doesn't look like anything special. I mean, you could have had the end of Jumanji as, like, a jumping off point, since it washed up on a shore. Have, Walter and Danny maybe live by there and, find this game. Though in the book, they were going to play Jumanji, but then they found Zathura. I mean, you could have worked something out. Connect the two movies together. There's just so many things they could have done better with setting this up. So, yeah. Yeah, Danny goes upstairs and watches SpongeBob, which I'd much rather be watching, but then Walter, being the asshole he is, changes it to Sports Center, which is something I would also prefer to watch. So, Danny's like, you want to play a game with me, Walter? Walter's like, no, you cheat all the time. So, Danny starts it, and unlike rolling dice in Jumanji, with Zathura, you turn a key until a button pops out, and you press the button, and that'll say how many spaces you go. And unlike Jumanji, where you can have up to 4 players, yes, Zathura, only 2. So yeah, and then when the spaces is determined and the rocket moves, out pops a card. And unlike Jumanji, where you get, creative poems, it's, do not mistake it for thunder. If you stand still, it will be a blunder. Which was the Stampede. This one just straight out tells you it's like the audience is retarded or something. Meteor shower. Though Danny can't read, it's like meteor. Walter, what does this say? Meteor shower. And then all of a sudden, there's a meteor shower in the living room. Yeah, and it only hit the living room. And then Walter and Danny discover that the house is now in outer space. Okay. Though they step outside and somehow don't explode or, suffocate from lack of oxygen. I don't know. I still find that weird. I mean, one could argue that, there's also some sort of protective bubble around them, but there's other scenes where that theory can be shot down, and also they didn't turn the gravity on. So, yeah, they keep playing the game, and they eventually freeze Kristen Stewart in her room while she's getting ready for her date. And, well, a bunch of other crap happens. They get a robot who wants to kill Walter because it's defective. And it starts out as this tiny little toy robot that's the size of a Transformer toy, and then starts to grow. I mean, it's not like it builds armor on top of itself, it just grows. Like that. How does that make sense? Come on. Explain, movie. Explain. Come on. Just explain something. And then it tries to kill Walter, and they eventually, shut it down and lock it inside the basement. But apparently it's got this little robot in it that can, redo the circuits and shit. And then eventually they get this card called Reprogram, and then they try to make some food. Danny tries to make some mac and cheese, but fail miserably. Then they attract these aliens called Gorgons, which are kind of like the lizard from Spider-Man. Not the Amazing Spider-Man movie, but like a classic lizard. They're like lizard people. And, well, they start attacking the house, and Walter tries the reprogram thing. Walter, don't you know what reprogram is? Reprogram is something you do on mechanics, some machinery, like a robot? And you got a defective robot? I mean, how does this kid not think of it right away? Oh, wait, yeah, plot convenience. God. And then they eventually get a card for an astronaut, and the astronaut knocks at their door, and it's Dax Shepard. And let me just say right now, I hate Dax Shepard. He's a very boring person. I don't find him funny. I find him to be like a douchebag. And just, I never cared. And his movies suck. That's another thing. I mean, he was okay in Employee of the Month, but still. And, well, he starts making himself at home. And also, Walter got this card, saying that he's a captain. And then Dax Shepard pulls out a card saying he's a captain. What could this mean? And then he sees that they're playing this game, and, Dax Shepard's like, okay, I played this game 15 years ago with my brother. And this all happens after Walter gets a shooting star, and he wishes for a football signed by Brett Favre. Now I want to castrate myself after the mention of such evil. And Dax Shepard basically tells him that he had played the same game 15 years ago with his little brother, and him and his brother fought all the time, kind of like Danny and Walter. And, well, he got, the shooting star, and he wished his brother was never born. And, well, he was stuck. He couldn't move anymore because it wasn't his turn. So yeah, pretty dark, though it comes with a stupid thing later on. And Kristen Stewart is eventually thawed out, and she realizes what the fuck is going on. She finds Dax Shepard so dreamy. I like his eyes. Ugh. So yeah, eventually the Gorgons, the Zorgons, the lizard aliens get their way into the house, and the gang has to, defend themselves and, also hide because they eat meat. And he's like, that's good. Dude, you're meat. So yeah, the Gordons do steal the game, and they have to somehow get it back, but the only way to the basement is through the elevator thing, and Danny's the only one that can fit in it. And while Danny sees it on this conveyor belt, Dax Shepard tells him not to go on the ship, but Danny does anyway. Gets the game, and then going out, he steps in glow-in-the-dark alien shit, which I'm surprised isn't radioactive. And, tries to, gets back in the elevator thing, but, something's not right. The line kind of broke, and Danny's kind of fucked. Don't worry, he does make his way out and is saved, and they keep continuing the game, only after Kristen Stewart runs over an alien with their piano. Eventually, Walter lands on another shooting star and wishes that that Dax Shepard would have his brother back, and it makes another Danny. Yeah, Dax Shepard is a grown-up Walter. Okay. Hold on, let me process this. So, is Dax Shepard like a Walter from another timeline? You could argue that maybe he got sucked into a black hole at one point, but that's never hinted at. And while there is a black hole in the movie, it doesn't have anything to do with, how this happened. And then you see Dax Shepard turn into what Walter looks like, and basically turns into what the Rangers did at after the legendary battle was over. And so does the other Danny. And Kristen Stewart is freaked out because she said her brother was hot. I don't get that part. I just don't. So yeah, they keep playing the game, and, well, eventually Danny does win, but Zathura is a black hole! Yeah, and it sucks everything, and the rockets are going in reverse and resets everything to the beginning. And then their dad picks them up. Yeah. Overall, this was just very unsatisfying, and unlike Jumanji, which was very successful at the box office, raked in like $266 million, well over its budget, Zathura bombed. It only made like $64.3 million, which isn't much since the budget was $65 million, but it's still a flop. So, yeah, I'm glad that it flopped, quite frankly, and probably a lot of other people do too. This was directed by Jon Favreau, who you might also know as the director of Elf and the first two Iron Man movies. 3 incredibly superior movies, in my opinion, and I think a lot of other people would probably agree. So, yeah, the final verdict: it's Jumanji. How can it not be Jumanji? Just, Zathura is a very lackluster movie. It makes you want more, and it barely delivers on anything. Yeah, and also, don't ever replace Robin Williams with Dax Shepard and then make it look like it's a good thing and throw in this stupid twist that's I still can't make sense out of it. Yeah, if I'm gonna watch Jumanji without Robin Williams, then I'll just watch Jumanji the animated series. Yeah. Also, I heard that 2 years ago, Sony announced that they were going to do a Jumanji reboot. Wonder how that's going to go. It's either going to be great or a complete pile of ass. Hopefully it's not, and I'm quite excited for that. So, yeah, take care, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, and happy Thanksgiving to everyone.